15 days have passed since the doctor strike started all over the country. Every morning, the pain for Kenyan patients is increasing, and the hope for a solution is fading, if the outcome of the recent talks is anything to go by. Is there any hope for Kenyans? Also, Ministry of Education flags a worryingly sharp rise in the numbers of child labor in Nairobi.
This is a fundamental constitutional right. They are not benefiting out of this.
And residents of Baringo North blame local illicit brew bars for the rise in rape and defilement cases in the sub-county, with the recent incident being that of a 23-year-old man who raped an 82-year-old grandmother.
Tanzia kutoka kwa mashule na makanisa. Na mimi kuongea ukweli sijaona hata baa moja ambayo wameenda wakatengeza mahali pengine wakasema sasa hapa tumefaulu kwa ile distance. Hakuna.
All right, welcome to this live broadcast. My name is Hibak Said. To start us off, the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union today have pulled a stance in Mombasa as doctors aim at their demands being addressed. Today's strike follows just a day after a second chaired meeting between KMPDU and the government on the 27th. We will cross over to Mombasa later on, but first, let's continue with the doctor strike in another county. KMPDU doctors drawn from Elgeyo-Marakwet County have suspended the doctor strike in the county. According to the Health Chief Officer of Elgeyo-Marakwet, Jeremiah Chirchir, the county government has put strategies in place to ensure that the healthcare sector is not disrupted by the doctor strike.
Kitu cha kwanza, wao wenyewe magavana, they have taken an oath. First of all, they have taken an oath to safeguard the lives and the people of this country. One. Two, they cannot tell us that to go each and every county to have our different CBA signed. We have one CBA ambayo kwamba imekuwa signed, ambayo kwamba iko legal right now, ambayo kwamba kutoka 2017 to 2021. Kama yeye mwenyewe governor ameambiwa aregeshe madaktari wake na amepewa court orders, why can't they even follow the court orders? We have court orders in Mombasa to this governor. We have court orders in Kirinyaga to herself, that is to reinstate all doctors ambao kwamba aliwafuta. Kwa nini hataki kuwaregesha? Is she above the law? No. Kwa nini anatutishia sisi? Sisi hatuwezi kurudi kuwasikiliza wao. If they really want us to go back to work, they really need to heed our grievances, our 19 demands. They need to heed them all. And we are not going to back down until all our demands are met.
On the same note, in a different county, KMPDU doctors drawn from Elgeyo-Marakwet County have suspended the doctors' strike in the county. According to the Health Chief Officer of Elgeyo-Marakwet, Jeremiah Chirchir, the county government has put strategies in place to ensure that the healthcare sector is not disrupted by the doctors' strike. However, Chirchir acknowledged the validity of their demands as a union, stating that they are currently awaiting funds from the Ministry of Finance. Furthermore, the woman representative in the county, Caroline Ngeleche, commended the move by the medics and urged the national government to devise strategies to address the doctors' concerns.
Daktari wetu walikuwa mgomo kwa wiki moja uliopita. Last week on Friday tuliweza kukaa chini na wao na tukaelewana jinsi ya kurudi kuweza how to improve on the services that they were demanding, and also a formula that they are going back to serve the patients. As today and yesterday, our doctors were in hospitals, Chebiemit and Iten County Referral Hospital, and also Kamoso. You can also see our pharmacist is also continuing dispensing drugs. He was one of the people who was affected in the KMPDU strike. Our MOH also is a member of KMPDU, and they are here serving the people in this camp. So most of our doctors are back, especially those who are under the county. We have also the national seconded doctors. Those ones we are still away. They are still in Nairobi negotiating for their terms. The other doctors which we don't have in our hospitals are the interns. Remember, one of the demands that the KMPDU were asking the government is to do timely posting of the interns. So those are the doctors we don't have in our hospital since the national government have not posted them. But our county doctors are in hospitals serving our people.
I want to appreciate the county government of Elgeyo Marakwet County because they have been able to manage their doctors. We can see that even and in this camp we have several doctors from the county and they are doing a nice job. Number any issue to do with health ina deserve better seriousness, si kama yenye yeye amehandle hiyo issue nayo, kwa sababu health ni kitu inaweza paralyze inji na itatupatia hasara ambayo ingeweza kuzuiliwa kama madaktari wanaweza rudi kazini na kufanya kazi kwa haraka. Na ile vitu ambayo madaktari wanaulizia si vitu ya hali ya juu sana, wanaitisha promotions, wanaitisha employment, wanaitisha pia wale interns wapate kuonwa. Tukipata kuchezea madaktari ni kama tunachezea afya yetu.
And we move over to Uasin Gishu County, where more than 30 people from Langas Estate within that county are counting losses after a fire burned down their houses worth millions of shillings. Firefighters from Uasin Gishu County were able to tame the fire but faced a hectic time when putting it down as the victims could not salvage anything from the inferno. According to the residents, the fire was caused by an electric fault which razed down a timber residence and then spread across to other houses.
Imesemekana ni stima imesababisha hiyo moto, lakini tumeweza kuidhibiti juu tumeona moto imekuwa kubwa, tumeweza kukata hiyo mambo yote ya stima, ndio moto ikakuwa kidogo, lakini hata tukijaribu yote imekuwa imeenda to an extent that haiwezi zimika.
If you look at the rubbles, you can see people are looking if they can secure even a document that is still remaining. Everything, original documents are into ruins. Moto na upepo ilikuwa uncontrollable. We could only save some few houses hapa yenye tulimwaga maji, but it was beyond our help, but wakadhibiti moto. Now what is left, I had to cut hata hiyo line tumekata ya stima. It was going that far.
Mtoto yangu amebaki bila vitabu, anasoma Wareng, amebaki bila nguo, ana uniform, juu anakuwa na uniform 3 sasa yote imeungua, amebaki na yenye yako naye.
Kwa job nikaitiwa nyumba inaungua. Sasa tunaomba serikali na watu wenye wanaweza tusaidia, watusaidie. Hakuna chenye imebaki, hatuna mahali pa kulala.
Back to the capital, where CS Education Ezekiel Machogu has raised concerns over the rising number of child labor in Nairobi County. Speaking in Kise, Kasarani, Machogu called on to the county to collaborate with the national government through county commissioners in identifying parents whose children are working to earn a living on their behalf. Additionally, the CS attributed Nairobi's merit to poor performance and inadequate school attendance, asking education officers to form a task force led by the Regional Director Education, Margaret Lesuda, who will scrutinize all public schools.
In that particular assignment, the other program we have in Nairobi, Your Excellency Governor and all of us, is child labor. I think this one, Your Excellency plus County Commissioner, and all those of us who come from Nairobi, for sure we must come up strongly. Because when you look at the number of E's, when I released the exams, my friend Resuda and my team from office, we will also be able to come up with a special task force which will be able to identify all the private schools in Nairobi and give the status of those particular private schools. What kind of teachers are they having in these schools? What kind of infrastructural development do we have in these particular schools? Because parents actually have taken their children not because of choice, but because they don't have any choice as such. If you go to St. George primary school or any other public primary school and look at the applicants in any given year, they are 100 times out of the number they require. So parents, rather than keeping their children back at home, they opt to send them to another school. And anything known as a school even if it is private, rather than staying at home, they opt to send them home. So we will also be able to set up that special team, and I hope, County Commissioner, you will be part of that team, because apart from identifying those particular private schools, and we know the quality of teachers, have they gone to college?
And on that note, we go for a very short break. When we come back, more news.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na Nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus niko niwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee. Soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue. Mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines, where every beam, every nail tells a story of progress and vision.
In every aspect of life, you know, you have to look at several dynamics.
From groundbreaking,
now it is with the tech.
Welcome back to News Now. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki today visited Turkana County to assess the state of security in the county. The county has seen occasional attacks, especially on the borders, still remains on the government's radar as an area that needs to be addressed. However, the situation can be said to have improved over the last 1 year after the commencement of Operation Maliza Uhalifu. Kindiki met with security and intelligence heads at Lodwar Town to discuss how the situation can be further improved. Now, members of the public have been assured of their safety by police officers in Nairobi after a successful crackdown of robbers who have been terrorizing the public, especially on the highways. While speaking to the press, the regional police commander of Nairobi, Adamson Bungei, has urged members of the public to be vigilant, especially on matters security, adding that they should work with the police and report matters that threaten public security.
Here, as police, because of the operation that is ongoing within the Nairobi area, and why we are here is because we are first to appreciate members of public for passing the information to us from areas that at one point or the other we could not be able to reach or be able to identify that something wrong was happening. And for yesterday, we were able to take note that there was a team of a gang that were terrorizing members of public along this stretch of town. We've mobilized our teams. With me here are officers from Kilimani, that is the Kileleshwa, officers from Parklands, that is the Gigiri, and officers from Central, because this is a center point whereby the 2-3 divisions operate. I want to pass to the public that their safety is assured in Nairobi, given that now we've known and we are laying our strategies continuously depending on the challenges that come on our way. At all times, sometimes you get issues happening here and there. We may not be there as police, but members of public are now becoming part and parcel of us to police this city. And therefore, I want to appreciate them that whenever you see something wrong being done, communicate with us.
The Cabinet Secretary for Cooperative and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development, Simon Chelugui, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to making sure SACCOs are a major component of financial inclusion. Speaking at the opening of Harambee SACCO's capital campaign to raise 4 billion shillings in Nairobi, the CS stated that cooperatives have long been the foundation of financial inclusion, helping the unbanked and promoting resilience and financial knowledge. The SACCO Societies Act, which attempts to increase short-term liquidity through interborrowing and access to central payment systems, is one of the legal changes that the government has implemented to streamline the cooperative sector.
While the society pays a all-time high dividend,
the shared services platform is going to onboard even the small SACCOs to support them with technology, which is very expensive, to mentor them in a code share arrangement. And this is maybe we're giving them because we appreciate that SACCOs, chamas, the table banking is our way of life. The Harambes that we have, people come together, youths come together, form a CBO, collect money, lend each other over the table, share and pay back. Progressively they graduate to be SACCOs and eventually they become regulated. So it is our way of life. We cannot write it off, we cannot wish it away. Many SACCOs are coming up. It is only us to appreciate and see where they're coming from and begin to support them from that low level as we graduate them to the regulatory SACCOs.
we are very happy with the government, and as the CS has said, there's a bill we are waiting, is in Parliament now, Cabinet approved it, and one of the key issues is central liquidity protection. I mean, what we are looking at the movement is the assurance that when people give us our money, there is safety to that money. But in case of any event, nobody will go home empty-handed. Number two, the central deposit, whereby SACCOs will start issuing checks. That is going to give us a platform. Then the shared platform, so that we ensure that is an ecosystem. Even the small SACCOs that cannot afford an ERP, to ensure that they serve their members. Everything is digital now.
All right, transport stakeholders have raised concerns over what they call the dominance of multinationals in the local transport and logistics sector, with over 70% of contracts reserved for international players, edging out locals. They now say 90% of the trucks used belong to Kenyan transporters, reducing profits earned through the involvement of unnecessary third parties. KTA Chairman Newton Wango now says they have already petitioned Parliament to intervene and ensure at least 60% of the contracts are handed to local companies.
Wish to advocate for a quota system where at least 60% of transport and logistics work is reserved for local Kenyan enterprises. Kenya has sufficient local capacity to justify this proposal. We believe that any multinational operating in Kenya should find this requirement reasonable. As part of their engagement, multinationals should also strive to build and empower local businesses within the transport and logistics sector.
Now, health stakeholders from across Africa have demanded international cooperation to increase fiscal capacity and mobilize resources to meet the demands of the health sector. Ambassador Michael Oyugi, speaking at the International Coalition on Health Financing Advocacy's launch in Nairobi, emphasized the coalition's unique strength of bringing together over 12,000 members from 1,200 organizations representing the private sector, development partners, and civil society as a proactive response to these issues. The health advocate cited the country's healthcare worker strike is evidence of the impact that tight health resources have on families, as well as the millions of avoidable deaths that occur each year. More than 40 founding organizations are part of the alliance, along with others that promote health governance and have previously been helped by programs like the Joint CSO Learning Agenda and National Health Financing Dialogues.
Is coordination and cooperation to avoid duplication and loss of wastage of resources in that respect. So such an opportunity also, like the development we've seen tonight of coming together and forming a coalition, means that coordination will be better in terms of securing resources and also deploying them.
I think it's also a lesson to other African countries, more especially as I said earlier, that African Union leaders made a commitment in 2019 that at the minimum 15% of the budget was the health sector. So this was reaffirmed. You remember we used to have the 2000 Abuja Declaration of 15%, but in 2019, African leaders sat on themselves. So Kenya being one of the African country, I'm hoping they will take advantage of the coalition.
Some of our partners include the accounting agencies, and within our charter, we have quite a number of measures put in place to ensure that integrity remains key. That is one part that's lacking. Africa loses about